Hi there everyone, I hope you're doing very well. I know it's been such a long time since my last update, but I've been caught up with studies. And voila, here I am. First of all, I graduated. Ta-da! So I'm officially done with BA and I will be starting my MA studies in about 3 months. Let's get on with it. So in today's video, I will be sharing with you some reading activities that you can use in your classes. The reading activities that I'm going to mention in this video are all provided in this book, which was written by Jeremy Harmer, and the name of the book is How to Teach English, published by Pearson, the Pearson publication. Okay, so the number one strategy or activity that you can use while teaching reading to your students is called jigsaw reading. All right, I know that you are kind of familiar with the name. In jigsaw reading, students read a short text which sets up a problem, and then they are put in different groups, for example, in 3 different groups. In these different groups, they read 3 different texts about the main text. For example, 3 different solutions about the main problem, or 3 different reports about the same problem. Then they come together, different students from different groups come together, different students who have each read an entirely different text. They come together and together they try to summarize the text they have read and work out the whole story together. In the second activity, students are given an article or a story with various paragraphs, but the paragraphs are not in order. They have to read different paragraphs of the story and to put them in order to come up with a coherent version of the story at the end. Another activity that you can use with your students is called using newspapers. That's very essential to use newspapers to use articles from newspapers while you're teaching them reading. For example, you can provide different articles and different headlines and ask students to match the headlines with the articles, or to match the pictures with the headlines, or to match the pictures with the articles. Or you can provide different texts. For example, 3 different witnesses have described the crime, okay? And then you ask the students to kind of analyze the similarities and also the differences between these 3 texts. Okay, or you can also ask students to kind of predict the end of the story, or how they would change the ending of a story, or if they have any guesses about the author who has written this story. Another activity that you can use is called following instructions. Okay, so this is a very nice activity and it's kind of attractive, because in one version of this activity you can ask students to follow a recipe. Okay, to follow the instructions in a recipe and to actually try to cook a meal at their homes, okay? Or when they are in the class, you can ask them to follow the instructions and to match the pictures with the instructions. Okay, another thing that you can use is poems. So you can provide poems for your students and to kind of disorganize the lines of a poems and ask students to put them in order, or ask them to come up with a name or a title for the poem, or just share their thoughts about the meaning of a poem, or if they have any guesses about the poet who has written this poem. Another one is playing extracts. Students can read extracts after making sure that they understand the text and after analyzing the structures and vocabulary items in the text. You can ask students to act it out. They can put themselves in the shoes of an actor and try to act that extract out while focusing on intonation, pronunciation, word stress, and the speed. When students are provided with a text, they are also provided with some pictures and a title. Before getting started with the first paragraph, you can ask students to take a look at the pictures and take a look at the title and try to kind of come up with an explanation about the relationship between the pictures and the title. Or like, how are the pictures related to the title? How are the pictures related to the article? And just based on the pictures, what is your opinion? Just based on the pictures, what is your prediction of the article? Or just based on the title, what is your prediction? And then you ask students to read the article and examine it. Okay, so after examining the article, you can ask students to put the information they have received from the article in tables maybe, or in diagrams, in charts, in order to visually show the information which was already provided in the text.